Paperwork to appeal the controversial Section 53 ruling has been filed at the Registry of the Supreme Court of Belize. The Office of the Attorney General of Belize has filed an application to partially appeal Chief Justice Kenneth Benjamin's ruling on Section 53. The government's application to appeal solely deals with the word sex and its expanded meaning, which the CJ gave it. The CJ concluded that sex is equal to sexual orientation. The government's application opened the doors for the Roman Catholic Church to appeal as an interested party. The Roman Catholic Church is appealing the entire decision. The National Evangelical Association of Belize has also filed its paperwork asking the courts to be an interested party in the appeal. The association plans to appeal the decision in its entirety as well. Attorneys Dickie Bradley, Christopher Coy, and Michelle Shabat have been hired to represent the Roman Catholic Church. Attorney Dickie Bradley is also representing the National Evangelical Association of Belize, but he is doing so free of cost.
There has been two historic meetings between the leaders of perhaps all the churches in Belize. There have been two historic meetings between all the churches in Belize, the Methodists, Anglicans, Roman Catholics, the Evangelicals, all the churches, who are in fact the guardians of our morals. The churches are not the guardians, the courts are not the guardians of our morals. They are the guardians of our constitutional rights. The churches met with the Right Honorable Prime Minister, and then there was a subsequent meeting arising out of those two amicable meetings. A decision was reached in which the Prime Minister, who had informed the nation that he saw no reason to appeal the decision and that there was no legal grounds on which to appeal, has in fact informed that in relation to in his words, an expanded definition of the word sex. I think you are familiar with that word there, Jules. You could slice this out of the report. But that sex includes a person's sexual orientation. That is a decision with far-reaching implication in our young society in Belize. And the churches are of the view, as is the Prime Minister. The churches held to this view the very day the decision was announced. It's important for us to make this point, that the churches were always of the view that the word sex, which appears in a particular section of the Constitution of Belize, that no one and no law can discriminate against any person on the basis of your race, your creed, your color, your place of origin, and your political opinion, that is the word used in the Constitution, and your sex. You cannot be discriminated. So that His Lordship the Chief Justice, in making a decision that gay people in Belize cannot be discriminated against because the term sex now includes this modern version that it is your sexual orientation.
Pastor Lance Lewis and Pastor Scott Sturm spoke on the importance of the appeal.
I'm happy. I'm glad that we've got our foot in the door again, and I'm very, very happy. This is a day for us as a church to be able to take a strong stand, particularly for family protections. And I think that people have tried to wrongfully paint this as people trying to dictate what's happening in the bedroom. For us, it's not about that at all. What it's about is protecting the children and the agenda that goes after the curriculums and education. And so we feel a very, very sober responsibility to take a very, very strong stand in that area, and that's what it's about for us.
Last week, Friday, was a bit sticky because when he went around the table, he had said that there was a hindrance now, we cannot move forward without a consensus. We still stuck to our idea of wanting a full appeal, and eventually something shifted, and I think as a result of God hearing and answering our prayers, and the Prime Minister came around to say that yes, we can appeal because they are going to appeal a section of it, but we are appealing the full, making a full appeal. So we think that God came to our aid and we see a sense of victory. We are now filing our case today, and we believe that God will do the rest for us.
Pastor Lance Lewis and Pastor Scott Sturm spoke on the importance of the appeal, and according to Lewis and Sturm, they do not hate homosexuals and they are all for human rights, but gay rights are not human rights.
We fully support human rights. We believe that with all of our hearts. Our Constitution defends human rights, and part of our whole point in this area is that everybody has human rights. The only thing you need to qualify is to be a human. And so, but what this issue is about is actually, it's the redefining and the reinterpretation. It's people have painted the picture that the Chief Justice ruling was very narrow in a specific area. Our attorneys and we feel, no, it was a very broad ruling with an open-ended blank check. And so yes, human rights for everybody. And I saw on the news Caleb Orozco was talking about people being denied, access to health care or whatever. What we're saying is we have laws already in our country that forbid those things from happening. Press the button and take action. But to swing the whole thing into a reinterpretation of special human rights, that's what we're calling it. It's special human rights. And so we find it to be inaccurate and inappropriate and actually in violation of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights.
So when you say human rights, do you include gay rights?
Gay rights is not a human right.
We're talking about human rights for humans.
Yeah.
Gay rights are for gays.
Right.
Okay, we're talking
Gays are not human.
Gays
No,
are
we're
human.
not. That's not what we said. When you're talking about gay rights, you're talking about special rights for one special group of people. We're talking about human rights for all
everybody.
humans.
And that applies to the gays. The human rights appeals and applies to the gays.
The process can take months, if not years. The appellants are seeking for leave to appeal at the moment, and if that leave is granted, then their points will be ventilated in the Court of Appeal.